to read the YouTube Terms of Service introduction. Thank you for using YouTube, the platform and products, services, and features we will make available to you as part of the platform. Collectively, the service. The service allows you to discover, watch, and share videos and other content, provides a forum for people to connect, inform, inspire others across the globe, and act as distribution platform for original content creators and advertisers, large and small. We provide lots of information about our products and how to use them in our help center. Among other things, you can find out about YouTube Kids, the YouTube Partner Program, and the YouTube Paid memberships and purchases. Where available, you can also read all about enjoying content on other devices like your television, your games console, or Google Home. The entity providing the YouTube service is Google LLC, a company operating under the laws of Delaware, located at 1600 Amphitheater Parkway, Mountain View, CA 94043, referred to as YouTube, we, us, or our. References to YouTube affiliates in these terms means the other companies within the Alphabet Inc. corporate group, now or in the future. Your use of the use of the service is subject to many of these terms. The YouTube community guidelines and the policy and safety and copyright policies may be updated from time to time. Altogether, your agreement with us will also include advertising on YouTube policies. If you provide any advertising or sponsorships to the service or incorporate paid promotions in your content, any other links or references provided in these terms are for informational uses only and not a part of the agreement. Please read this agreement carefully and make sure you understand. If you do not understand the agreement or do not accept any part of it, then you may not use the service. Age required: you must be at least 13 years old to use the service. However, children of all ages may use the service, and YouTube Kids were available if enabled by a parent or legal guardian. If you are under 18, you represent that your parent or guardian's permission to use the service, and please have them read this agreement with you. If you are a parent or legal guardian of a user under the age of 18, by allowing your child to use the service, you are subject to the terms of the agreement and responsible for your child's activity. You can find tools and resources to help you manage your family experience on YouTube, including how to enable a child under the age of 13 to use the service in YouTube Kids in our Help Center and through Google's Family link. If you're using the service on behalf of a company or organization, you may represent that you have the authority to act on behalf of the entity and that such entity accepts the agreement. The content on the service includes videos, audio, for example, music and other sound, graphics, photos, text, such as comments and scripts, including branding, includes trade names, trademarks, service marks, or logos, interactive features, software, metrics, and other materials whether provided by you, YouTube, or a third party. Collectively, content. Content is the responsibility of the person or entity that it provides to the service. YouTube is under no obligations to host reserve content. If you see any content you believe does not comply with this agreement, including by violating the community guidelines or the law, you can report it to us. You can use parts of the service such as browsing and searching for content without having a Google account. However, you do need to have a Google account to use some features. With a Google account, you may be able to like videos, subscribe to channels, create your own YouTube channel, and more. You can follow these instructions to your Google account. Creating a Google account will give you access to additional features and functions such as uploading videos, making comments, or creating playlists where available. Here are some features about how to create your own YouTube channel. To protect your Google account, keep your password confidential. You should not reuse your Google password on third-party applications. Learn more about keeping your Google account secure, including what to do if you learn of any unauthorized use of password or Google account. Our privacy policy explains how we treat your personal data and protect your privacy when using the service. The YouTube Kids Privacy Notice provides additional information about our privacy practices that are specific to YouTube Kids. We will process any audio or audio-visual content is uploaded by you to the service in accordance with the YouTube data processing terms, except in cases where you uploaded such content for personal purposes or household activities. You may access and use the service as available to you as long as you comply with the agreement and applicable law. You may view or listen to content for your personal non-commercial use. May also show YouTube videos through the embedded YouTube player. The following restrictions apply to you. The use of the service: you are not allowed to access, produce, download, distribute, transmit, broadcast, display, sell, license, after, modify, or otherwise any use of the part of service or any content except as especially authorized by the service or with prior permission from YouTube, and if applicable, the respective rights holders circumvent, disable, fraudulently engage, or otherwise interfere with any part of the service or attempt to do any of these, including security related features or features that prevent or restrict the copying or others use of content or limit the use of service or content. Access the service using any automated means such as robots, botnets, or scrappers, except in the case of a public search is in accordance with the YouTube bot robots.txt file or with YouTuber's prior written permission. Collect or harvest any information that allows that might identify a person, for example, usernames or faces, unless permitted by the person or under or allow under a section above. Use the service to distribute unsolicited promotional or commercial content or any unwanted of mass solicitations, cause or any encourage any incorrect measurements of genuine user engagement with the service, including by paying people or providing them with incentives to increase our videos views like or dislikes, or to increase the channel subscribers or otherwise manipulate metrics in any manner. Misuse any reporting, flagging, complaint, dispute, or appeals process, including by making YouTube groundless vexations or frivolous submissions, run contests or on or through the service that do not comply with YouTube's contest policies and guidelines. Use the service to view or listen to content other than for personal, non-commercial use. For example, you may not be publicly seeing screen videos or stream music for the service, or use the service to sell any advertising, sponsorships, or promotions placed on, around, or within the service or content other than that allowed in the advertising and YouTube policies, such as complaint, product placement, or sell advertising, sponsorships, or promotions on any page of any website or application that contains content from the service or where content from the service is primarily based for such sales. Example, selling ads on a website where YouTube videos are the main draw for users visiting the webpage. Using the service does not give you ownership of or rights to any aspect of the service, including user names or any content posted by others on YouTube. YouTube is constantly changing and improving the service. As part of the continual evolution, we may make modifications or changes to all parts of the service, such as including or removing features and functionalities, offering new digital content or services, or discontinue old ones. We may also need to alter or discontinue the service or any part of it in order to make performance or security improvements, make changes to comply with law, or prevent illegal activities on or abuse of our system. These changes may affect all users, some users, or even the individual when the software requires that or includes downloadable content such as YouTube Studio application. That software may update automatically on your device once a new version or feature is available, subject to your device settings. If we make material changes that negatively impact your use of the service, we will provide you with reasonable advance notices except in urgent situations such as preventing abuse, responding to legal requirements, or addressing security and operability issues. Will also provide you with an opportunity to export your content from Google account using Google Takeout, subject to applicable law and policies. If you have a YouTube channel, you may be able to upload content to the service. You may use your content to promote your business or artistic enterprise. If you chose to, what the heck? If you chose to upload content, you may not submit it to the service any content that does not comply with the agreement, including the YouTube community guidelines or the law. For example, the content you submit must not include third-party intellectual property, such as copyrighted material, unless you have permission from that party or otherwise legally entitled to do so. You are legally responsible for the content you submit to the service. We may use our automated systems that analyze our content to help detect infringement and abuse such as spam, malware, and illegal content. You retain ownership rights in your content. However, we do not require you to grant certain rights to YouTube and other users of the service as described above. By providing content to your server, you grant to YouTube a worldwide, non-exclusive, royalty-free, sub-licensable, transferable license to use content, including reproduce, distribute, prepare, derivative, works, display, and perform in connection with the service in YouTube's and its successors and affiliates. This is including for the purpose of promoting and redistributing parts of all the service. You can also grant each other use of the service a worldwide, non-exclusive. I reread that. What the fuck? A license is granted by you continue for a commercially reasonable period of the time after you remain or delete the content from the server. You understand and agree. However, the YouTube may retain but not display, distribute, or perform server copies of your videos that have been removed or deleted. You grant to YouTube the right to monetize your content on the service, and such monetization may include displaying ads or within content or charging users a fee for access. This agreement does not entitle to any payments starting November 18, 2020. Any payments you may be entitled to receive from YouTube under any other agreement between you and YouTube, including, for example, payments under the YouTube Partner Program, channel memberships, or Super Chat, will be treated as royalties. If required by law, Google will withhold taxes for such payments. You may remove your content from service at any time. You also have the option to make a copy of your content before removing it. You must also remove your content if you no longer have the rights required by these terms. If any of your content is in breach of the agreement, 2, may cause harm to YouTube or users, or third parties will reserve the right to remove or take down some or all your content in our discretion. We will notify you with the reason for our actions unless we reasonably lead to do so, or would breach the law or the direction of legal enforcement authority, or will otherwise risk legal liability for YouTube or our affiliates. We compromise an investigation of or the integrity of operation of the service would cause harm to any user, other third party, YouTube, or our affiliates. You can learn more about reporting and enforcement, including how to appeal, on the troubleshooting page of our help center. YouTube operates a system of strikes in respect of content that violates the YouTube community guidelines. Each strike comes with a varying restrictions that may result in the permanent removal of your channel from YouTube. A full description of how strikes affects your channel is available on the community guidelines strikes basis page. If you believe that a strike has been issued in an error, you may appeal here. If your channel has been restricted due to a strike, you must not use another channel to circumvent these restrictions. A violation of this prohibition is a material breach of this agreement, and Google reserves the right to terminate your YouTube account or your access to all parts of the service. We provide information to help copyright holders manage their intellectual property online in our YouTube Copyright Help Center. If you believe your copyright has been infringed on the service, please send us a notice. We respond to notices of all alleged copyright infringement according to the process in your YouTube Copyright Center, where you can also find information about how to resolve a copyright strike. YouTube policies provide for the termination and appropriate circumstances of repeat infringers access to the services. You may start using the service anytime and follow these instructions to delete the service from your Google account, which includes closing your YouTube channel and moving your data. You also have the option to download a copy of your data first. YouTube reserves the right to suspend or terminate your Google account or your access to all parts of the service if you materially or repeat breach this agreement. We are required to do so to comply with a legal requirement of a court order, or we reasonably believe that there has been conduct that creates or could create liability to harm any user's other third party, YouTube, or our affiliates. God damn. We will notify you with the reason for the termination or suspension by YouTube unless we reasonably believe that to do so or violate the law or the direction of a legally enforced authority would compromise an investigation, would compromise integrity, operation, or security of the service, or would cause harm to any user of a third party, YouTube, or our affiliates. If your Google account is terminated or your access to the service is restricted, you may continue using certain aspects of the service, such as viewing only without an account, and this agreement will continue to appeal such use. You believe the termination or suspension has been made in error, you can appeal using this form. And the service requires or includes downloadable software such as YouTube Studio application. Plus, the software is governed by additional terms which provides a license. YouTube gives you a personal, worldwide, royalty-free, non-assignable, and non-exclusive license to use the content provided to you by YouTube as a part of the service. This license is for sole purposes of enabling you to enjoy the benefit of the service as provided by YouTube in the manner permitted by this agreement. You are not allowed to copy, modify, distribute, sell, or lease any part of the software, or to reverse engineer or attempt to extract the source code of the software unless laws prohibit these restrictions or you have YouTube's written permission. Some software used in our service may be offered under an open source license that we make available to you. There may be a provision in an open source license that provides override some of these terms, so please be sure to read those licenses. God damn. That's it then. Fuck, that shit was long.